guys, so your first instructional video. This is probably the most important instructional video that you'll see throughout this series because it includes what's called the hip hinge, which is integral to the swing, the two-handed swing, the single arm swing and all their variations, but also the hip hinge transfers over into other moves such as the cleans, the snatches, figure of eights, things like that, which will then come along later on in further instructional videos, okay? So it's really important you get this one, make sure you get the hip hinge correct, make sure you get the technique correct, and then you'll really reduce any risk of any potential injuries at all whatsoever, okay? So I'm just going to show you how we do the two-handed swing from the front and from the side, then I'll start coaching you through it, okay? So, kettlebell's sat in front of you, we're going to reach down, we're going to fold at the hips, we're going to pick up the kettlebell with two hands, and I'm just going to demonstrate how we do the two-handed swing from there. Okay, so that's from the front, I'm just going to show you from the side. Okay, so when we address the kettlebell, we want it right in the centre of our feet, just in front of us, okay? So the hip hinge, this is where we fold at the hips and we don't bend at the waist. So from the side, the hip hinge is where we push the hips back and down, here, and from the bottom, we then drive the hips up, okay? So what we're not doing is this. We don't want to bend at the waist. We don't want any bend in the back there. The back stays nice and flat, so neutral spine, fold at the hips, push your bum back and down. Just imagine that you're just going to perch your bum on a window ledge behind you. Then from this position here, we really punch up with the hips, nice and powerful, and just allow the arms just to swing up, stay nice and loose, going with the momentum from the hip drive, much like a pendulum would swing it, okay? So all that power comes from the hips, it's the hip drive, okay? So from here, we sit back and down, from the bottom, nice and strong and powerful, okay? So I just want to run you through a few common mistakes that we see with the swing. Okay, so the first common mistake we see is where people squat, rather than hip hinge and sit back and down. So it would be this, okay? So squatting and then front raising, squat, front raise. Okay, so that's the first mistake. Bum doesn't go straight down like a squat. You have to sit back and down into that hip hinge position. Okay, and then you drive up from the bottom. All right, the second common mistake is not keeping a neutral spine. So bending at the waist here and having this really arched position in the lower back there, that rounded back, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on the lower back. So we need to make sure that spine stays neutral. We sit back and down, back is nice and flat, so we've got a straight line from the head, through the neck, all the way down, through the upper spine, down into the lumbar spine. Okay? Another mistake we sometimes see is going too far down with the upper body. Okay? So when we swing, we sometimes see this, where the person is looking straight at the floor and the chest is facing the floor. We don't want that. We want to keep the chest up and shoulders back, so we're sat back and down. So if I were to be swinging in front of a mirror, I would still be able to see the logo here on my t-shirt, okay? So sat back and down here. Still got that good position with the upper body, not here like this. Okay, again, that's going to help protect that lower back and not stress and strain the lower back too much. Okay guys, so that's the basic two-handed swing. The basic two-handed swing is where the arms finish horizontal to the floor here. This is sometimes called a Russian swing. From there, we can then go into what's called a high swing or a hybrid swing, where the arms finish higher up on 45 degrees. And then the last type of swing, which is quite advanced, and you'll see this in CrossFit sessions, is called the American swing or the overhead swing, where the arms would finish right up above the head. Okay? With all of these different variations, it's the hip drive that is most important. We've really got to be strong and powerful and punch those hips up from the bottom. Squeeze your glutes at the top. So we drive up, squeeze, and then swing back in. Just letting the weight of the kettlebell swing down before we explode back up again into the swing. Okay? So I'm just going to show you one more time from the front and then from the side. So again, address the kettlebell in between the feet. We sit back and down with the hips. Bring and allow the kettlebell just to swing back through the legs. And then we drive the hips. Strong, powerful, and explosive with the hips. Okay, one final point. Note my breathing. I'm forcefully exhaling the air as we swing up. Then breathing back in on the way down. Okay, really important. What we don't obviously want to do is to be holding our breath, because then you're going to go lightheaded and you'll start seeing stars. Okay, make sure you breathe out on the way up and in on the way back down. Okay, guys, so that's the two-handed swing, which includes the hip hinge and all the two-handed swing variations.